Arizona controls the tap. They're the top seed, so they're wearing their home whites here against the traveling Carolina blue. This is Frank McMillan. He was introduced as Tom, who was a great star at Maryland, now involved in politics. Arizona's ball.
Open offense, straight man-to-man by the University of North Carolina. Lebo got caught on a switch on Elliott. Bucknell can't afford to do that often.
Elliott is their star with the knee brace, number 32. Kerr's the point man, 25. They wanted Cook, and Elliott turned it over on the traveling call. The first turnover here by the Wildcats as we get underway.
Brent, Bucknell's wearing one sneaker 2 sizes bigger than the other, so that might have been Bigfoot there stepping on Elliott. Zone defense by Arizona, 2-3. They give a lot of different looks.
See how Carolina will attempt to post up J.R. Reed. Dean Smith taking a careful look at Luke's defense right here. Bucknell sends it to Lebo. This is the 3. Off McMillan's hands.
You notice North Carolina setting up their triangle offensively to try to work against this 2-3 zone. Arizona traps down in the corners. It's difficult to do much down there. They're going to have to go weak side to get Lebo that jumper.
Bucknell and Elliott exchanging a couple of words there on the inbounds pass. Bucknell playing with that very painful turf toe. Carolina not too sure how far he can go here today. The worst of their 3 injuries.
And if you're going to deploy Lebo, you ought to deploy him on the side over on Kerr's side, because it's tough to get the jumper over McMillan. He's so big. Kevin
Madden, 22, ships it back. And again, Reed is boxed up on the inside. So now Lebo pulls it back out. Now he touches it. Quickly whips to Madden, and here's Lebo. And Arizona's defenders attack that ball so well. We noticed this against Iowa. They don't give you much shooting time. Now it's down to 5 seconds. They wanted Reed, turned it over.
That was just great recovery by the Arizona defense in that zone, Brent. They do a great job on the perimeter. I really don't see how Kerr and McMillan, with the exception of their experience, are able to move so well on that 2-3 zone.
Lebo picking up Kerr.
There's the switch again. And Cook has got Lebo all by himself.
Kerr. Rebound by Carolina. The 2 teams start out shooting tightly. Inside quickly to Reed. He's in on the block. Missed it. And they get only 1 shot. Now Arizona back. Elliott looking for daylight. Doesn't take much room for Sean Elliott to squeeze the trigger and get down the field goal. Reed turned it over on the travel. That's 2 turnovers now by Carolina here in the early moments.
That was a turnover that'll be charged to J.R. Reed, but that was a mental breakdown by Jeff Lebo, because you shouldn't give the big guy the ball coming down out of control in that particular situation.
Tom Tolbert there, 23. He's the center. He can play out high. He's a good shooter, and he'll go hard to the glass. He drew the foul.
North Carolina is doing an awful lot of switching, and against a team that's as experienced as Arizona, they're going to take advantage of that. It's going to create a lot of mismatches, as we just saw right there.
Arizona has blown out 3 opponents by an average of 29 points in this NCAA tournament. That's why they came into this game favored by as many as 6 points.
20 of their wins this year are by 20 points or more. That's hard to believe considering the competition.
And they have ripped teams early, too. Something that Carolina has to be very careful about. They get that 18-2 run going early in a game, and suddenly you're digging uphill against a team that does not turn the ball over very often. Arizona builds a 3-point lead quickly. They drop back defensively.
You notice how quick that back line was to get back. You just don't get any easy baskets by going up the court quickly.
Now, even though Lebo is playing with that stress fracture, they're going to need his outside game here this afternoon. Deflected by McMillan, and he'll run it down. Lebo lacking the mobility, could not go get it, and McMillan stays with it and banks it in.
There again, Brent's what I'm talking about. Lebo ought to set up on Kerr's side because McMillan has a great deal of size out there on that wing position. Now he's over with Kerr.
The lob into Williams.
Great back screen against the zone.
On a feed from Jeff Lebo.
Notice Arizona playing without a basic postman. Big screen that time by Tolbert.
And the first foul against J.R. Reed down away from the ball.
J.R. trying to hold Cook up going on that baseline after the screen.
Cook wears 0-0. Very quick. Sort of like a knife through hot butter when he goes to that glass. Somewhat unheralded and rather impressive the other night against Iowa. As is his whole team, by the way. And they'll hit the open man frequently. They'll pass up the shot under pressure to find someone who is more wide open.
See, there's the switch. J.R. gets stuck on Elliott.
Tolbert looks for the receiver, and it's McMillan. Underneath again. And this foul goes against Arizona.
Big blocking out on the inside. Good block out situation by Bucknell. Push off is called on the inside.
Against Anthony Cook, Billy.
Arizona gives a different look in that zone. See how Kerr plays it like a 1-1-3 and match up with you.
Carolina starts out shooting 1 of 3. Arizona 2 of 4.
North Carolina wanting to punch down inside.
They turned it over again, attempting to pass the ball to J.R. Reed. That's 4 turnovers already by Carolina.
Jeff Lebo is not the type of guy that's going to turn the ball over often. As a matter of fact, he's done a number of games this year without any turnovers at all. Little back screen by Cook. Oh, great screen.
That was Cook who threw it. Wraparound pass by McMillan. Now it's Tolbert. They got a hand on it. Carolina defense brings it down. This is Jeff Lebo, his dad. Congratulations. Carlisle, Pennsylvania won another state title back there. They beat a school from Pittsburgh last night. J.R. Reed couldn't get it down. Against J.R. Reed, his second personal.
And Brent, again, McMillan's size. You very seldom have a guard that is capable of going in there and rebound like McMillan. That's what forced the foul. You mentioned that state championship. Billy Owens went crazy again. And talking to Dean Smith, he thinks he's the most complete high school player he's seen in a long, long time.
Levy scored 54 points last night, and so the Carolina locker room was kidding Jeff Lebo. They said, we told you to recruit him, and you didn't. And, of course, he's headed for Syracuse next year.
Nice
Steve Kerr gets in.
Great
He is fouled, and he'll step up to the free throw line. Lebo's first personal. That is 4 team fouls against Carolina and only 1 on Arizona. Now, this team out west doesn't get much respect, but take a look at how Arizona has done against the big boys, like the Big Ten. 5-0. How about the tough guys from the ACC? 1-0. They beat Duke down home in Tucson. The Big East, 2-0.
Notice Kerr on that last drive threw that shot up left-handed. You know, Brent, when I look at Kerr, I think back at Louisville's national championship. They lost Milt Wagner the year before, and he had to sit out. Kerr sits out a year. Now, he comes back as a 5th-year senior, brings all that maturity with him, and it may be very much like Kenny Crumb's club.
It's a 4-point Arizona lead, 6-2.
And they go man-to-man for the first time.
JR out on the bench, so Chilcutt replaces him. And this puts some pressure down on Williams in the blocks. They will see if they can get him off. They could not read. Manzino Smith seen his first play in action. And now it's Lebo. Kerr came flying at him, but Lebo hits the 3.
Good screen by Ranzino Smith. And you can see the respect Lute Olson has for J.R. Reed. He goes man-to-man with Reed out of there. Great crossover dribble by Elliott.
McMillan traveled, according to the Carolina bench. They don't have the whistle. Running shot, Chilcutt rebounding. Quickly to Ranzino Smith, the senior.
Williams can shoot that jumper.
Misses it, and all white jerseys surround it.
He has the green light to take that jumper from that point by Dean Smith.
In low to Tolbert, and he pushed off.
As quick as these big men on the back line are, you can't get those lobs in there.
So we're going to take a timeout, and that's the first personal on Tolbert. 6-5 our score.
Reality exceed your dreams. A tradition unlike any other. The Masters, CBS Sports.
Well, Billy mentioned that Steve Kerr missed all of last season because of this knee injury over at the World Competition. Watch him throw the ball somewhat awkwardly, and the knee exploded, and it had to be completely reconstructed.
I just remember just screaming, just rolling on the floor, and it felt I could hear lots of things just ripping up in there, and sure enough, I tore it up pretty well.
Arrived back home in Tucson, he was greeted by several hundred followers of the Arizona Wildcats. He told me before the game that he doesn't even notice the injury once the competition begins, that the adrenaline takes care of that.
Brent, there's that 1-1-3 zone defense again. You don't see that often in college ball.
They're now using Fox, number 44. This is Ranzino Smith, an outside shooter, but McMillan got over on him. Strong offensive rebound by Williams. This is a critical part of this game for Carolina with J.R. Reed out. Williams must pick up that slack.
Scott Williams picked it up against Michigan the other day, led them in scoring. Very underrated player who's coming into his own.
Elliott wanted to pass. Great play there by Ranzino. Forces the turnover now for the Tar Heels, and they come down.
Ranzino Smith, the only senior on this team. There hasn't been a team with this little experience in Dean Smith's coaching career in about 20 years.
That familiar passing attack that Dean Smith always employs, trying to get an open cutter somewhere.
Fox will go one-on-one. Lebo needs a screen.
They get it in on the inside. Offensive foul is called. Ranzino was backing in on it. That's 5 team fouls against Carolina here at the 12:38 mark. And so with 2 personals, Dean Smith sends the main man back into the fray.
And that will not go unnoticed by Lute Olson. And he go back into that zone. You can be sure of that.
And Williams sits down and takes his first break against Coach Lute Olson, who has accomplished more in a desert than anyone since Rommel.
I like that line.
And he sends in Joe Turner, number 33.
Number 21, King Rice.
You know, Lute is one of those fellas, Brent, when he asked that question, who would you want to coach if you were starting a program that you needed built from the bottom up? He's got to be right at the top of the list in the country.
Took over a Pac-10 team that was 1-17 in the conference the previous year, and here they are now, the dominant power in the Pac-10.
Nice job by Chilcutt. Moving those feet.
Cook.
I think he surprised Cook a little bit. Chilcutt, who had the great game against Syracuse at the start of this year, when both Bucknell and Reed were not playing on the team.
He's a 6'9" freshman out of Alabama, number 32. And this time it is Fox, another one of those splendid youngsters. He's out of Nassau, the Bahamas. He goes 6'7".
And he's matched up right now on Sean Elliott. He's got enough power to stay with him, but not a lot of experience.
If depth matters in the tournament, Carolina has an advantage there. But many coaches feel that at this time of the season, that's overrated. Cook gets to the glass, but no basket. He traveled.
Cook had excellent position on that as he got around J.R. Reed. He just got a little bit over anxious. We can see the great defense by both of these clubs, and I was wondering, Brent, which percentage would hold up, and it looks like defense have been the constant because they're both holding their opponent down.
I saw something else, too. A little more emotion here early on that Carolina bench. The Arizona team a little bit tight over there on the sideline.
Problem on the perimeter now because King Rice will not look to shoot the jumper.
King Rice just shipped it in. Here's J.R.
Great passing.
Carolina builds a 3-point advantage. And Rice stays on Kerr, hounding him. He'll have a speed advantage in that matchup. Now Ranzino is out on McMillan.
Sensational defense by North Carolina. I don't think Arizona has seen anything this tenacious so far this year, including the Duke team that played them at home.
Yeah, and Lute Olson will have to counter against that speed in the backcourt.
Number 44.
Right now, he sends in Harvey Mason. And McMillan sits down. Mason gives him a little more speed because up against Ranzino and Rice, they'll need it. Tolbert back in, and Turner sits.
Mason is having 7 games this year in double figures when he only averages 10 minutes of playing time a game. It shows you how explosive he can be. There's that 1-1-3 zone again.
Four players off Dean Smith's bench now in the game, along with the main man, J.R. Reed. This is Chilcutt, the freshman. J.R. had a hand on it and couldn't get it. Now it's Kerr to the attack for Arizona.
Always have to be wary of him pulling up and taking that jumper. Elliott saw the lob.
Carolina trapping in the corner. They get it over here to Mason. Kerr, the three-point expert.
Now, that was a breakdown by Ranzino Smith. He has got to let King Rice play his man honestly and not lead Steve Kerr, who will just stay out beyond the three-point range and wait for that pass. Mark of an experienced team, boy, really takes advantage of something when you break down.
Jump hook by Reed, winds up back in his hands.
Good job by Arizona there, pushing Reed maybe one step beyond where he likes to take that shot.
Kerr had a hand on it, Carolina's ball with 32 on the shot clock. And we're going to have a timeout.
Timeout. The
Stick
score,
TV
North
break, and we'll be right
Carolina,
back. 9:52 in the first half, and we're tied at 9. One of the familiar faces to basketball aficionados on that Carolina bench is an assistant coach by the name of Dick Harper. He was the Kansas coach who took the Jayhawks and a Wilt Chamberlain fella on into a championship game in which they played 3 overtimes against North Carolina. And North Carolina prevailed back in 1957. What a year this would be. The 50th anniversary. Kansas is in, and North Carolina is trying to get there. That one of the more memorable championship games of all time. Here we are tied at 9, 9:40 to go. Williams is back in the game along with Reed together now.
Nice. What happened there is Madden took up an awful lot of slack, and North Carolina's starting to find a little hole in that 1-1-3 zone defense.
Now, I mentioned Anthony Cook. He's been scoring 21 points a game in the tournament. He is scoreless so far. Carolina not shooting well, but Arizona also well under its average here this afternoon. It has been very aggressive defense at both ends of the floor.
Colbert wants his turnaround jumper.
This is Mason missing the 3, and contact underneath, and it goes against Cook, his second personal foul. Reed with 2, and now Cook must play with 2, and Lute Olson may elect to rest him a couple of minutes.
Brent, you mentioned Kansas, and I think back, you know, they've had 4 different coaches that have led them to the Final Four. Larry Brown being the 4th, and you mentioned Dick Harp over there, Ted Owens, and of course, Coach Smith's great head coach, Coach Allen.
Joe Turner quickly returns. This game is not unfolding as so many of Arizona's have this year.
Madden's open on the side. He likes that target over Mason.
Kerr rebounded. Three-pointer by Steve Kerr. Is he amazing from out there?
He is shattering the national record by about 8% throughout the course of this year with that 3.
These 2 threes have the Wildcats ahead right now. Madden off a couple of fakes. Wants to come over the offense. Reed was sealed up. Tolbert rebounds. Here comes Kerr again. This time the open man is Mason. And Reed gets back down for the rebound.
That's a smart choice by Jeff Lebo, making him pass the ball to Mason.
They wanted Williams, and it was hit by Arizona. Carolina's ball.
Turner touched it. What Williams wanted Madden to do to throw that ball high, not on the line drive. Williams is great getting back down court on the run.
Lebo sets the play. Good defense against J.R. Reed. Lebo bangs his second three.
That was great concentration by Lebo because Kerr did the right thing. He rushed right out on him, knowing Lebo very seldom explodes by with the dribble.
Magnificent duel between Lebo and Kerr.
There's the switch. Tolbert's wide open.
They have kept Elliott very quiet here for a couple of minutes. He's number 32. He puts it on the floor. He can maneuver there. They double-teamed him, and there was a blocking foul against Carolina. It'll go against Bucknell, his first.
And, Brent, if we see Bucknell on Elliott, one of the things that Bucknell's doing so well, and we saw Billy King do it yesterday for Duke, when you're playing against a great penetrator like Elliott is, and he gives those super head fakes, you got to keep your feet on the ground and be ready to move. Let him have that jump shot to start off with, and that's what Bucknell did so well in that move, even though he picked up the foul. I don't think I've seen any player with those great penetrating moves any better than Elliott in quite some time. He's the All Pac-10 MVP, the tournament MVP. He's had a great season.
All right, Lofton leaves. Kenny Lofton is in, number 11, as Mason leaves. Let me correct that with Branzino coming back. Madden will sit there for Carolina. Sean Elliott reminds some of the young Tony Dorsett.
He's good in the open field, too. With or without the ball.
Deadlocked again at 14.
Lofton is great at stealing the ball, extremely quick. But it makes the front kind of short.
Williams' chance to complete a three-point play.
Brent, as I said, the zone is very short out front now, which helps the passing lanes, particularly if you're going to go inside now that McMillan is sitting down. So I think Arizona has a hard time playing that 2-3 zone with Lofton and Kerr out front against a tall North Carolina ball club, especially when a guy like Bucknell steps out.
Carolina was beaten 6 times this year, half of that amount by Duke.
And with the exception of that unbelievable upset by Wake Forest, they have been beaten only by tough teams.
Temple and Vanderbilt, the other two. Elliott trying to create. Taken off by J.R. Reed. Lebo. Watch how many of the Carolina players touch the ball each time they come down the floor. They've already had 4 of them. Now J.R. comes out.
Now it's man-to-man. J.R. is going to look to post up inside. He's got Elliott on his back if they can just take their time with him.
Ranzino Smith with the miss. Elliott's rebound.
Not good patience by Ranzino.
Williams Campbell. Now he'll have to hurry back. Knocked away from Turner. Reed trying to come out, and Turner fouled him. So we're at the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington. This seats 65,000 for football, 60,000 for baseball, and it will hold up to 40,000 for basketball's Final Four next year, and 75,000 if Bruce Springsteen wants to travel out here and hold a concert, I'm told. Carolina leading Arizona by 3 points with 6:27, and Anthony Cook returns, even though he is playing with 2 personal fouls. And Chilcutt back off the Carolina bench, and Dean Smith will give J.R. Reed a breather. He too is playing with a couple of fouls, and Lute Olson talking to Tolbert. This is not the kind of a bench we have seen from Arizona the last few games. They are much more accustomed to playing on the lead.
And with their starting 5 playing most of the minutes, Brent, but because of the intensity of this game, Lute Olson's having to play that chess match with Dean Smith.
Ranzino Smith cannot nail the 3. Elliott's rebound. Cook wanted the pass, and Kerr elected to keep it on the dribble, and now Elliott glides in, and there's a blocking foul against Carolina. It's against Williams, and that's his first. They are over the limit Arizona has one to give.
Well, as we pointed out on Saturday, Arizona is an incredible team in regard to foul shooting. They're not only shooting 73% as a ball club, but they have made more free throws by almost 100 than their opponents have shot this year, which is a mark of a great team as far as giving the ball up and making sure your teammate gets a better shot than you have.
The knee brace that he's wearing on the left knee here, shooting the free throws against Dean Smith's Carolina team. Sean Elliott injured that knee playing soccer in high school, and the doctor said, Sean, you'll have to give up competitive sports. Sean would not have anything of that. So he underwent extensive rehabilitation as Tolbert returns for Arizona, and here he is, an All-American, a junior, determined to return to that fine school in Tucson next year at his mother's urging. College degree never hurts any young man, she says, and how true that is. Wasn't that pleasant today what happened to Danny Manning, who passed up a lot of money and stayed in school, goes back to the Final Four. Great moment for Kansas. Ranzino Smith now.
Great job by Cook coming out on that back line to stop that jump shot by Ranzino.
Williams turned it over. That's 6 turnovers against Carolina.
Cook is a very much underrated player in terms of his defensive ability. He holds the Pac-10 record. There's King Rice in there. Holds the Pac-10 record for shots blocked, and he is so quick and has great anticipation inside. Reminds me a lot of Tim Perry from Temple, maybe even a little quicker.
Lofton working in the backcourt. Elliott again coming in, and the foul is called, and that's Bucknell's second.
We can see Elliott again with the great pump fakes from the outside, and that time Bucknell, who's really showing me a lot of guts today, Brent, because I didn't think he'd be able to push off on that toe. Wasn't it Jack Lambert, the great linebacker in Pittsburgh, who had turf toe and really ended his career down there? You just cannot push off.
It's supposed to be one of the more frustrating injuries for an athlete to experience something like that. And the players at Carolina in their locker room, they cannot take any shots of a painkiller because of the drug tests, and that goes for Bucknell with that turf toe injury, and it also goes for Lebo with the ankle injury, and Williams, who is playing here with a shoulder injury. They don't want to fail the drug test, so the strongest that Lebo has been able to take is Tylenol. And even then, they have to report that they're using it as McMillan returns here for the Wildcats.
There's an interesting substitution. You didn't see that very much this year with McMillan on in for Elliott this early in the ballgame.
In effect, Arizona is playing 3 guards out there with Tolbert and Cook right now. So Dean Smith forces Lute Olson to match him here in the early going, if you will.
Carolina's got to get away from Cook on that side over there. He's just shutting off every jump shot opportunity on that side of the court.
Fox.
Great shot. He's becoming more and more aggressive as this season goes on. Had to sit out his senior year of high school because of a problem when he transferred from the Bahamas.
Arizona's last 6 points have come from the free throw line. All free throws by Sean Elliott.
North Carolina really aware where Kerr is right now. They don't want him to get out here for that 3.
Tolbert on the turnaround, over Chilcutt, 6'8" center. Junior college transfer. There's Lebo, maneuvered for that pass beautifully, hitting his 3rd three-pointer.
Son of a coach understanding where the hole of the zone is. He's getting away from Cook.
Tolbert off and went back for the rebound too aggressively. Came up over Rice and committed his 2nd personal foul.
That was a good shot by Tolbert. He's got great moves in that low post.
So often in the past, Billy, we have seen Carolina cool over there on the sideline. But under J.R. Reed's leadership, this is a much more emotional team now from Chapel Hill. We'll be right back. With Billy Packer in Seattle, here's how Carolina took that 2-point lead. Shooting 45%, Arizona's 38%. Jeff Lebo blazing away with 3 trays, and Kerr with 2 for Arizona. Billy, your feelings about the game at this point?
Well, Brent, as we said at the top, and the thing that I always look at is what Coach Wooden always told me at halftime. He looked at that field goal shooting percentage, and for Arizona at 38, they normally shoot 55. So you can see that Carolina's defense has definitely had an effect on them here so far.
with J.R. Reed watching from the Carolina bench. Sean Elliott is back on the floor for Arizona. And Lute Olson now will use another of his subs, Judge Bushler. The guard with the great leaping ability comes onto the floor, and Tolbert sits down. So McMillan, Cook, Elliott, Bushler, and Kerr out there against Rice, Madden, Fox, Lebo, and Williams for Carolina.
Carolina goes to their little boss set now. Madden posting up. He's
They
tough
get
in
it
there.
to him. He was short. And Arizona had too many hands going for the rebound.
Madden has a very good vertical leap, and he posts up well because he's so strong. He had Elliott on his back, maybe a little bit too over-anxious.
Low-scoring first half, 3:30, and it's 22-20.
The inbounder, Arizona goes from man-to-man back to the zone. Boy, two well-coached teams out here. They've got so many different things they do to you.
Rice gives it back to Madden. Set a screen out high for the guard.
You see that back line from the Arizona defense, how they move up on guys that look to take the wing jump shot. They do it better than any team I've seen play a 2-3 zone. There you go, Bushler right up there. You just can't get the shot off.
Inside of 10 on that shot clock. And it will be Fox coming around, but he travels. That's the 7th Carolina turnover here in the first half.
King Rice pushing Kerr. Notice he picks him up three-quarter court. He's got King Rice's great foot movement defensively.
Kerr told me that Quinn Snyder at Duke played him awfully tough down in Tucson. That's a great move by Elliott. It's goaltending. Great one-on-one move by Sean Elliott that time to slide inside.
That's that step-in move, Grant. He had everybody going, and he took one extra step to get that jumper off.
With the score tied again at 22. 2:33 and counting here in the first half.
Now, Rice not a threat to shoot, but he's doing a good job penetrating inside that zone.
Lebo short that time. But King Rice hustles to the ball. The quickness, he was an all-around star. Bring him to New York. He's a fine football running back. Now the turnaround to the baseline, and Fox tips it in. So they can rebound even without the big man out there.
McMillan couldn't get a body on him.
Kerr trying to get around the corner, and Rice was hounding him from the side, and Rice commits his first personal.
That's a smart player there, Brent. Kerr realizes North Carolina is playing him for the jump shot, and they've been doing it the entire half. So he just checked them out a little bit and put the ball on the floor.
Number 33, Joe Turner, down the lineup for Arizona.
Next week we'll be in Kansas City. Duke going against Kansas. The winner of this game will be taking on Oklahoma. Our coverage starts at 5 Eastern. 50 years at the Final Four. First time they started to sell it out was in 1973. It's hard to believe you could get tickets to the event prior to that, because I dare say this is going to be one of the toughest tickets in the history of sport, with Kansas now going to Kansas City. Oklahoma of the Big Eight also there. A lot of those fellows in Oklahoma who are Barry Switzer's friends will think nothing about hopping aboard those private jets and flying on up there.
You know, Arnie Ferrin told me that when he was playing back in '44, they took home something like $18. $18 won't get you the right to bid on one in Kansas City.
Room service breakfast, maybe, if you don't have the sweet roll.
That was the team's take.
Zeno Smith, who came in. Carolina can't get the shots to fall from the outside, with the exception of Lebo. McMillan penetrates again, goes to the glass, and gets the bounce. And now the Arizona bench starting to get into the swing of things here, as are their fans who have traveled up from Tucson.
North Carolina now trying to set some screens against this zone to get the outside shooting going.
Now Smith is 0 for 4 outside, Billy, so he has been struggling. For the loose ball is McMillan. Traveling is the call. McMillan wanted a foul call in that situation, and so did the Arizona bench.
Great hustle, though, by Craig McMillan. Came all the way across the floor. One of the most heralded recruits from the West Coast early on in Lute Olson's building program. He has fallen off as a scorer, but a very, very valuable defender and leader.
Well, Arizona has stopped J.R. Reed. They have held him to 2 points here in the first half, but they can build only a 2-point lead themselves as we come down to the final minute. Carolina's defense has kept the Tar Heels in this one. Ranzino Smith trying to get the money, and he does with the home run, putting the Tar Heels ahead.
Shot clock down so that Arizona can hold it for the last shot here, Brent. Has to watch a 5-second call.
Elliott has it taken by Fox.
That should be 2. That should be an intentional foul.
Bench signaling that.
Brent, I don't not.
There's the call.
Should be, certainly. And I have wondered why, and we saw yesterday there should have been one also. When you grab a man from behind, there shouldn't be any question. Now, this is a big call here because he's got 2 shots. Carolina will have the ball out of bounds, be able to hold for the last shot and a half.
Rick Fox on the line. It was an intentional foul. 2 shots.
Surprising mental breakdown by Steve Kerr.
Number 42, Scott Williams down the lineup for North Carolina.
Scott Williams returns for the final 33 seconds.
I expect Dean Smith to be putting King Rice back in, maybe to give him 3 guards to run his little 4 corners.
That's exactly what he's going to do, Billy. Just as you were saying that, he turned and yelled for Rice. Fox has scored 5, even though he missed that one.
Yeah, he's going to go with 3 guards, take Fox out of there, set up the 4 corners, which King Rice, Smith, and Lebo do fairly well.
Arizona has lived at the free throw line here in the first half. 10 of their points have come at the line to only 2 for Carolina. Carolina has shot but 3 free throws, and Arizona has taken 12 at that charity stripe. So they bring it down now to the last shot time with Lebo, Rice, and Ranzino, along with Williams and Chilcutt.
Just going to sit on this, and it's a good strategy because even if you don't score, you go in with a lead at halftime. Dean Smith can go ahead and really make those wings have a problem. He wants Lebo to have his hands on the ball because you've got shooters out there.
Ranzino wants Lebo, taps to Rice, and Kerr was right there, and Rice with that quick move missed, and Ranzino Smith fires it up at the buzzer in the first half. The number 2 seed, North Carolina, leading the number 1 seed, Arizona, 28-26. Sean Elliott scores 10 for the Wildcats. CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship continues after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Reebok Basketball Shoes. Reebok, because life is not a spectator sport. Pontiac Grand Am, a true driver's coupe built with a feel for the road. And by UPS for overnight delivery from coast to coast. UPS runs the tightest ship in the shipping business.
3 quarters full, and in the final spot, coming from the west, it's North Carolina leading the top seed Arizona by 2 at halftime in the West Regional Final.
Wang Laboratories. Wang makes it work. And by Jiffy Lube. For 14-point oil, lube, and fluid service, welcome to Jiffy Lube. We'll take care of you like family.
With a half to play, North Carolina and Arizona will fill in that final spot on the dance card at Kansas City. Already Kansas and Duke will go. They will play in 1 game, and Oklahoma will meet the winner of this in the other one. Some of the numbers from the first half here reveal how the Tar Heels have managed to move ahead. It's 28-26. Offensive rebounds, 7 by the Tar Heels, none for Arizona, resulting in 9 second-chance points. Anthony Cook is still looking to take his first shot for Arizona. And a field goal percentage, well, North Carolina has taken 27 shots, Arizona 15. And Billy Packer, you said keep an eye on the shooting stats here today.
Even though North Carolina is shooting a smaller percentage, Arizona averages, Brent, in a half normally about 30 shots a half. They're only getting off 15 shots and being held considerably below their average. So I think that's a testimony to North Carolina's outstanding defense. And, of course, Carolina hadn't exactly shot the lights out against the great Arizona defense.
Certainly J.R. Reed has not because of the foul trouble. He was held to 2 points in the first half. He'll open up the second half. There is one bad omen for Arizona and good if you're a Tar Heel fan. Arizona has been behind only once at halftime all year. That was at the pit in Albuquerque against New Mexico. And, of course, New Mexico went on to win that game. It's 28-26, a very low-scoring first half here, as Lute Olson, who served 13 years as a high school coach in various parts of the nation, got his big break at Iowa, did a splendid job with the Hawkeyes, moved down to Arizona, and he has put this program on the map. They are the best West Coast Pac-10 representative since the John Wooden teams of the mid-70s. And they need a bit of a spurt to get back in this. It was the Tar Heel defense that did a job in the first half.
North Carolina looking, Brent, to take it nice and easy, maybe to get J.R. Reed in the low post early here in the second half. He's got Tolbert on him.
J.R. still staying out high. Now he drops back in. Carolina tries to get everybody into the flow. Madden is short with the shot. McMillan is off for Arizona.
Good defense by McMillan. Altered the jump shot.
Now let's see if Arizona attempts to get Anthony Cook into the flow. J.R. Reed fronting him.
Be a smart move with J.R. having those 2 fouls on him.
He'll come out and seek the ball this time.
Great first step.
Tolbert banged it, but it wasn't there, and a foul coming off, and that is 3 fouls on Tolbert.
Now, Cook should have learned something on that move he just put on J.R. His first step took him right by J.R., but he only put the ball on the floor with 1 dribble. If he would have extended to the second dribble, he could have gone right to the basket. Big foul right there for Tolbert. Takes away some of that inside scoring. Turner can do the job defensively, but he can't give him the points.
J.R. is now starting out very high before he backs in. Here he is off a pump fake. The open man is Madden.
Good block out by Tolbert.
Kerr quickly to McMillan, knocked out of bounds by Williams.
Now, one of the things about all well-coached teams, Brent, is how they go from offense to defense and defense to offense, the transition game. You saw how well drilled Scott Williams there was to cut that pass off. One of the reasons North Carolina did so well against Loyola Marymount.
Cook and Elliott play catch, and Elliott, a good outside shooter.
He realizes Bucknell's planning for the drive, so he pulls up and takes the jump shot.
And
Smart
the 3
play.
puts the Wildcats out on top by a point. Well, the 2 All-Americans have done, and Williams comes back utilizing the glass.
Some shot over the Pac-10's all-time shot-blocking leader.
They did not keep that stat when one Bill Walton was playing at UCLA. We should quickly point out McMillan's 3. They bang in back-to-back 3-point shots against the Tar Heels.
McMillan had a good first half against second half against Iowa, giving J.R. that little jump shot at the foul line.
Almost encouraging him, and the pass is made to Kerr.
Mental breakdown.
And McMillan for the layup.
2 mental breakdowns.
Signaling the team to slow it down, be patient. Oh, there's a man open all alone, and they can't get it in, but they tap it back for Williams. 11 points now.
Madden having problems when he gets down inside because he's worried about getting his shot blocked instead of going up strong.
The last few trips have been the most impressive by Arizona in this game.
Go foul.
Tolbert, and now we're seeing the Wildcat team that dominated the Pac-10 in the West.
JR's got to stay patient. Oh, JR put an elbow in Kerr's face.
He wants it. Can't get it to fall. Yanked away by Elliott.
Cook is open.
They've hit 4 straight field goals. Finally miss. One down by Williams, and here's Lebo.
JR and Tolbert really going at it.
JR drew the foul from McMillan. Billy, you mentioned that an elbow was thrown down there. Let's watch the big fella coming over here, number 34. Tolbert leans into him a little bit.
That's a good bang. Now, Kerr throws his elbow in there, and he catches one back. That's not too smart a move when you go in there with JR and put your elbow out.
Taking on one of those heavyweights.
Yeah, you know, you just talk to him nicely as you go by and get out of the way. Take your head off in there.
JR sealed, so he moves underneath to the other side. Chilcutter checked in. And the three-point shot.
Three-point shot by Rancino Smith.
So Smith, who was cold in the first half, hits one here in the second half. He's 2 of 6. And now it's Elliott back on the penetrating move.
Bucknell was looking for help, and it wasn't there. Now, Bucknell's bad legs hurt him from making his patented drive, but he goes all the way that
right
time.
back offensively and hit the field goal. His first of the afternoon, and it's a 1-point Arizona lead.
And I've said from the outset, this is one of the most hard-nosed Carolina teams I've seen in quite some time.
Elliott missing that time. Reed boxing out Cook, came away with the rebound. Lebo sends it back on the inside, and here's Reed.
Can't let him have the ball in that lower post position. North Carolina playing their man-to-man. Arizona started out the same way in the second half. Power against power.
Coming out high against Lebo. The open man's Tolbert.
Good shooter from there.
They both chased the ball man off the screen, and Tolbert left wide open.
Neither team has gone to the bench yet, Brent. You can see Dean Smith's got the first subs up. These guys are going to wear down a little bit at this pace. Double team.
Getting the ball into Reed's hands low. Much more, and Rancino hits another three.
That was a mistake that time by McMillan. Realizing Reed's starting to get on a roll, he left Rancino Smith. Smart move by Smith to take up the slack.
Different shooting this half than the first.
Arizona changing their offensive set right now.
Tolbert drawing the foul.
Basket! Great shot by Tom Tolbert. And picks up Reed's third. Smart move by Lute Olson, Brent. He changed his offensive set and really spread things out with nobody in the low post, which made it difficult for North Carolina to cover. You notice there is nobody in the paint. That set the back screen for Tolbert to pick off J.R. Reed. J.R. Reed couldn't get to him, and a smart move by Tolbert to throw this shot up. Play of the day. Look at that English on that ball.
Drawing the third foul on J.R., who quickly leaves at the 14:09 mark. He sat out most of the first half because of 2 personal fouls. He has 2 field goals in the game. And Tolbert puts the Wildcats up by 1. The Gumbies take over on that Arizona sideline. Well, when senior Tom Tolbert was at junior college in California, he experimented with football. And the one Final Four game that he remembers most of all is Villanova upsetting Georgetown. And that night, Tolbert was in a hospital bed, deciding that his football career was over and he'd stick full time to basketball. And here he is, 14 minutes away from a possible trip to the Final Four in Kansas City. The winner of this game to take on Oklahoma next Saturday at the Kemper Arena. They'll be going to Kansas City. 43-42, Arizona with the lead and 14:09 to play. Arizona has hit 7 of its 11 shots. Carolina 6 of 10 here in the second half.
Well, Brent, the first half started off with all defense knocking down that percentage, and now these teams are just blistering away in the second half. Maybe they're getting used to the great intensity.
Arizona wanted to make a substitute, and the officials were over checking, and they are going to allow Joe Turner to come on into the game as he snaps on his goggles. In fact, Tolbert sat down over there, and apparently they thought he was out of the game.
Well, he has to come out of the ball game. He was out of the game. They try to slide him in through it during the timeout. He'll have to wait to the first dead ball. Dangerous pass.
And Cook, reaching over Williams, fouls him his third personal.
And that's a costly foul. Tolbert's built up some. Lute Olson may have to make a change now and take out Cook and leave in Turner.
Because Smith counters with Reed. Turner leaving, Tolbert back, awaiting the dead ball situation. So Reed is back on the floor.
You know, Cook has not fouled out of a game this year, which is really great to have a big man that's that active as a shot blocker that has not fouled out of a ball game. There they go back to that 2-3 zone defense with great play on the wings.
Just not letting Reed take charge. They get to him low this time for the layup, and it would not stay down. But on the other side, he catches it because he wasn't sealing. He was frustrated and came down the floor. He wasn't celebrating the basket. He wanted the layup on that first effort.
Brent, see how great it is to have that two big men that can throw that pass cross court.
Kerr's three.
First time they set the high screen for Steve Kerr.
And his third tray.
The Arizona fans scream out, as they always do on his three-pointers, Steve Kerr in unison. Backdoor cut.
Great cut by Ranzino. Around miss. Tolbert yanks it off, and now it's Kerr. Lofton, who checked into the game, is number 11 handling the ball.
They've got a mismatch somewhere. It's got to be Tolbert and Ranzino Smith.
They get it into Tolbert. Reed moved over on him. Cook gets the offensive rebound. Cannot get the roll. Carolina's ball into the hands of Lebo. The pull-up. Kerr runs it down in front of Smith. Arizona starting to get some loose balls now. The job done, and Fox goes for the loose ball.
Kind of a look-away pass that time, not quite quick enough.
This time it's Tolbert forcing the turnover. Great defensive play at both ends here. Tolbert off the fake, drew the back from Williams, and a chance for a second three-point play.
Is Tom Tolbert playing super? This is just a great effort. Tolbert made the great defensive play on one end of the court. There's the pump fake, the lead in, and look at the concentration on Tolbert. Stays right with it. Two sensational three-point opportunities for him. Lebo is getting very, very tired out in the court right now, and of course with that ankle, he hadn't been very quick to start off with. And he's going to have to sit down. Dean Smith recognizing that as well.
Tolbert steps to the free throw line with 9 of his 12 points coming this half. Tolbert also has pulled away 4 rebounds. And with that free throw, Arizona builds a 5-point lead. They once were up by 5 much earlier.
And their fans really getting into it. Zone, making it tough to get anything down the baseline.
King Rice whips it to Buckner. And now Reed will rotate to the other side.
But the problem for North Carolina here, they don't have the outside shooter.
And Williams misses, emphasizing your point, though.
Yep. See, Buckner can't get his shot off, and King Rice doesn't want to take his, so they're really hurting there against that zone.
Here's the star, Tolbert. Rice rebounds.
And of course, what it does, it flattens up that zone so they can't get the ball to J.R. Reed.
Williams ships it back. Now Reed has it knocked away. Carolina's ball.
Notice how Arizona drops their zone all back inside the foul line now because they realize that there are no outside shooters except Ranzino Smith.
Buckner to Reed. Blocking foul is called on Cook, and that's his 4th personal foul.
That was a big break for North Carolina because J.R. did not have control of the ball. As I said, Cook has not fouled out of the game this year, although he's played with 4 on a number of occasions.
Number 14, Jeff Lebo.
But
Turner replaces him.
Turner, very valuable substitute. Matter of fact, Turner was the one that they anticipated would be the starter on this club a couple of years ago, and not Cook.
Smith comes around the screen. Lebo back on the floor for Smith.
Although it won't show up in the stat sheet, that was a great play by Kerr because he realized Lebo was behind him and didn't go for it.
Tap to Williams. Fouled as he comes up with the jump shot. 2 fouls on Kerr. 5 team fouls on Arizona and 2 on Carolina this half.
You know, when you look at Kerr, he's had 13 games this year, Brent, without a turnover. And he has fewer turnovers than games played. You know how many people have tried to do things against him defensively, thinking that he didn't have enough quickness to get by, but he just has such good judgment.
Lofton leaves as McMillan returns.
Williams, 2 shots.
Oh, that's JR. In the lane too fast.
And that cost Carolina a point. Watch down low.
I don't know what JR was thinking about there. He really tried to get the quick jump because Williams a pretty good free throw shooter. Carolina tries to go for the trap the first time. They're going to face a great passing team here. Back to man-to-man.
Elliott good with the dribble, gets it into Tolbert's hands. The wraparound shot.
Great pass by Elliott.
Carolina is scoreless now for 3.5 minutes.
Now Arizona goes man-to-man. Time to get JR the ball down inside with Tolbert. Great man-to-man defense by Arizona. They've just taken away everything North Carolina's got.
Tolbert got a hand on it, but Reed gets it back.
Good place to put the ball.
That will be the place where Carolina will now direct most of their offensive effort if they can. That goes against Williams, I believe.
Yep. He tried to bust through McMillan's screen.
Number 42.
That's his 3rd personal foul as he crashed through.
It's the 3rd team foul on him.
So we got a break on the floor at the 9:08 mark. It's 51-43, Arizona. The West Regional Final, the Kingdome in Seattle, and Arizona leads at 51-46. I may have said 43 going to commercials. Let me correct that. 51-46, and Arizona got there this half with 9 minutes to go this way. They have now upped that shooting percentage, 59% this half, and Tolbert has been their star so far with 12 second-half points, a couple of three-point plays along the way. And Billy Packer, an overview here with 9:08 to go.
Well, obviously, the shooting percentages have been the story in the second half. Tom Tolbert, who started this season in great shape at the Alaskan shootout where he was all tourney, is really doing it here in the second half. They've got so many good offensive weapons.
Great move by Elliott. Got the roll. And he'll shoot the free throw.
North Carolina tried to change him up defensively there, but Brent, this is an experienced team. They recognize defense as well. There's that pump fake over Madden, who didn't have the patience to stay down, and look at the great soft touch by Sean Elliott. And Michael Jordan said he's his player of the year nationally. I wonder if Michael watched Danny Manning play this year. He's a fellow North Carolinian. Man, Manning sure has had a great NCAA tournament so far. Isn't that an amazing story, Brent?
Well, I think he's carried Kansas about as far as Larry Bird carried Indiana State that year, Billy. That was the last time I can remember one player taking charge the way he has. And here, Lute Olson's team now in the second half, starting to play like the Arizona team, which dominated opponents all season long. This is the first moment of real crisis now for the Tar Heels. They're down 53-46.
Madden just can't do it. He's too small inside. North Carolina not patient enough to wait for J.R. Reed.
Running it down. The outside is Elliott. Passes off the dribble, and the offensive foul is called.
Now, you know, Elliott has a good gripe on that particular call. He is so good when he penetrates of going straight up in the air and coming back down that he shouldn't get called with that charge very often. I think the North Carolina players went underneath him a little bit.
That's what Danny Manning and Kansas did earlier today, 71-58. Incidentally, the first of Larry Brown's trips to the Final Four came when he was the head coach at UCLA. A couple years ago, he took Kansas in. They played a great game against Duke, won by Mike Krzyzewski and the Blue Devils, and now they'll have a bit of a rematch, and this time I would suspect there'll be a few Kansas Jayhawk fans on hand for that one in Kansas City.
Brent, that 1980 trip was the last time that the Pac-10 has been to the Final Four. This is the farthest any Pac-10 team has gone since then.
Arizona has never been to a Final Four. Lebo sealed up. J.R. Reed just cannot get it to fall today. Yanked away by Tolbert, fouled in the backcourt by Fox.
Rick Fox, frustrated, thought he had an offensive rebound, but Tolbert with the great hands, that two-handed rebound, just ripped it away from Fox.
His second personal, 15.
And Dean Smith starting to spread his defense out a little bit, and believe me, this is one of the tougher teams to do that to, because every guy is a good ball handler and can catch it. Even Tolbert will help you bring the ball up the court. There are the back screens being set up.
The three by McClellan. Tolbert and Reed duel, and it winds up in Williams' hands. Tom Tolbert is extremely strong. That is becoming increasingly apparent here this afternoon.
I think they should go down to J.R. Reed and try to get Tolbert in one more foul trouble, Brent.
Ranzino Smith fires up a miss. Turner hands it off to Elliott, and here's the point man, Kerr. Only one turnover here this afternoon by Kerr.
Fox doing a pretty nice job denying the ball.
Tolbert bounces it on the inside of Turner, and they get back out around the horn.
See how well they sit down when they throw that bounce pass to take away the angle from the defensive man.
Elliott's off with a miss, and now Carolina trying to shake free. They've scored only 2 points in the last 7 minutes.
Dean Smith wanting his club to get it down court quickly.
Looking for any kind of a hot hand. Lebo tries. Arizona, very tough team to chase.
Well, you work so hard, Brent, on defense, you have nothing left when you get down the other end. You lose your legs for your jump shot.
Timeout is called by Lute Olson and Arizona.
Score, Arizona 53.
It's 53-46 at the 6-minute mark, and we'll be right back. Olson's Arizona team has dominated its opposition all season long. That's how they have ranked nationally. 14-game winning streak. Olson grew up in Grand Forks, North Dakota. He was a superb all-around athlete. His father died tragically shortly after he was born, and Lute Olson had to work his way through high school, cleaning out barns and carrying on jobs, and he still found time to be a football, baseball, and basketball star up in North Dakota. Now his team is closing in on a trip to the Final Four. Elliott off the dribble. Oh, closer by the moment.
Boy, he is a great one-on-one player. Takes the good percentage shots. Of course, Lute has taken the team to the Final Four. He took his Iowa club there. Unfortunately for him, Ronnie Lester was hurt in that Final Four, and he didn't get an opportunity to take what would have been his best team.
J.R. fouled him. That's the third on Sean Elliott. We're here at the Kingdome in Seattle. You're watching action from the West Regional Final here on CBS. And certainly, Billy, we want to thank Bob Fishman and Bob Deacons, the director and the producer. They'll be going on to Kansas City. They're doing their usual splendid job, and they're giving us some great pictures.
You know, Brent, you're thinking about that Final Four in 1980. Lute Olson took an Iowa team there. Larry Brown took a UCLA team there. So now you have Larry at Kansas and Lute down at Arizona, going back with different teams, which I think is a real testimony of outstanding coaching ability.
J.R. Reed sending over a message saying, don't send Lute and the Arizona Wildcats there too quick.
Well, no, I understand that, but that's a strong possibility at this spot. Unless this man really gets on a roll.
Just hasn't been on the floor yet here today.
Well, Arizona's done a fine job defending him inside. Now, North Carolina is spreading out this defense. Do they have enough left to chase this talented team?
Foul, and that was Bucknell. His third.
Did you see, although it won't count, that was some layup.
Number 20, Steve Bucknall.
Over Scott Williams, who's an outstanding shot blocker.
Rancino in, and Rice will exit.
Now, Dean Smith realizing right now, being behind, not only does he have to chase defensively, but he needs Rancino Smith in there for a three-point shot.
Or it's tough to get the turnover from this Wildcat team.
There's a clear out for Elliott.
The sum is greater than the parts with this Arizona Wildcat team. I know that Sean Elliott's an All-American, a great one-on-one, but if you break this team down, you wonder how, and it's the fact that they play as a team, and Tolbert has stood tall today. 17 points for Tom Tolbert.
And Brent, if you're an NBA scout and you saw what he can do in the low post and yet putting the ball on the floor, making a move from that position, he's going to be one of those fellows who didn't get much mention early, but can be a factor.
Very strong. Rancino has not shot well today. There's Tolbert again now with a rebound.
Well, Lute Olson says you won't kick any sand in our faces on the beach with guys like Tolbert down there, and he's proven to be true today. Little spread now.
Elliott gives it to Tolbert.
Now Carolina has to think three-point shots, which are tough to get off against this ball club.
Down away from the ball. Turner and Williams in the foul against Turner.
Foul is on number 33, Joe Turner, his second personal.
As they get closer and closer to Kansas City, the Gumbies, as that bench describes themselves, will be celebrating more and more. We'll get some marvelous scenes over there.
Again, Dean Smith maybe coming back with Madden. King Rice he's going to start that substitution pattern with a defensive player Rice in there and the offensive player Smith.
Scott Williams to the line, 1 and
1.
Talk about restoring the fortunes of the Pac-10. They have to keep stars like Scott Williams on the West Coast. Dean Smith going to California to recruit a player for the first time. He's got recruits all the way from London to California. And it's a team that has a great future ahead of it. The only player they lose, as Billy told you in the first half, Rancino Smith. And here they're down by 9. A year ago, they lost the East Regional Final to Syracuse and Ronnie Cycler.
Lute Olson now being able to come back with Cook, and even though he's got 4 fouls on him, not as important as it was before. North Carolina going to have to create some turnovers, which is tough to do against this very, very experienced club.
They've protected the ball all year long.
Just don't turn it over. Every guy in his ball club, with the exception of Cook in the open court area, would be considered an exceptional collegiate ball handler. McMillan, Elliott, Kerr, and Tolbert.
They've been much crisper here in the second half, haven't they? Undoubtedly, Lute Olson told them to relax a little bit, start using their head.
and getting the ball to Tobin.
Does help to have the hot hand, doesn't it?
Well, you know, if you're a coach and you start looking at this team, what do you give up? And right away you say, well, we'll give up McMillan a little bit, but he got him started on the roll in the second half. But you really can't give up on anybody else because they can have the 20-point game against you. Elliott's career high is 35, which he had against Stanford. Brent, how about these stats when Elliott was the player of the tournament in the Pac-10? 21 of 37 from the floor, 25 of 29 from the foul line, 14 assists, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, 71 total points. That's an MVP performance.
I'd say.
And a nice kick.
Uphill now with 3:30 to go.
That's a good shot.
JR tries to run it down, but Cook comes up with it. And a foul is called. Cook will be shooting the 1-on-1.
Brent, if North Carolina is going to take the three-point shot, they've got to set some solid screens to get a little better one than that.
So next week, Kansas City, we look ahead, 5 Eastern time we'll start. 50 years at the Final Four will begin the coverage. And the game rotation will be this. Game 1 will match Duke against Kansas. 5:30 Eastern time, the coverage of game 1. Then game 2 will match Oklahoma against the winner here, and more as the moments go by, it's beginning to look like the Pac-10 will have some of its long-lost prestige restored. 61-50, an 11-point lead, and all the good folks down in Tucson now watching and hoping that their heroes get there all the way. This is a team they fell in love with a few years ago down in Arizona. Lebo's 3. Elliott's rebound. And into the hands of Cook, and a timeout is called. So we'll take a break here, with Arizona quickly using a timeout so as not to turn it over. And we'll be right back. 12-point lead by the Arizona Wildcats, 62-50 with 3 minutes and 8 seconds. And it has been a different Arizona team here in the second half. For example, Jeff Lebo scored 9 points. He had 3 3-point field goals in the first half. He has been held scoreless here in the second half. They've been unable to get the ball in low to J.R. Reed to dominate on the blocks with that zone defense, and they have not had the perimeter shooters to bring the defense back on the outside. 37 seconds on the shot clock.
In order to come back, they'd have to do it on the defensive end of the floor with some steals, and as we know, Arizona just as good as anybody in the country in recent years with the basketball. They just don't turn it over. Kerr and McMillan great with the ball, as is Elliott. Now they've gone into their own 4 corners. Nice catch. Trying to play some clock here.
Get it down inside 10. And they get a foul.
And a good free throw shooting ball club as well. 73% on the year.
I want to say something about a young man who may be watching this game, and that's Mark Macon, the Temple star who struggled so much yesterday for John Chaney. I know how down he is and how downcast he was following that loss to Duke. I want to remind him that out here in Seattle once I saw a fellow by the name of Dennis Johnson in the 7th game of an NBA championship game against the Washington Bullets go 1 for 14. And next year, Dennis Johnson and Seattle regroup, came back, and they won an NBA championship. So just when things seem the darkest, there's always a little light for an athlete. There's always another game to play, but my heart went out for him. Ranzino Smith fires up a miss.
Nothing going right for Carolina now. They're very frustrated. Actually, they were fighting among themselves for that rebound.
Number 21, Kate Rice.
There's Coach Olson's wife, Bobby. And, you know, that really is a partnership, Brent, in regard to the way they develop their basketball program. It's a total family affair, as we saw yesterday in the case of Mike Krzyzewski. Colvin putting it on the floor. Good split of the double team. Every guy in the club can catch the ball.
They are just a great team, Billy, and the more I see of them, the more I'm convinced that it will take a great effort by Oklahoma or anybody else to beat them.
There's Sean Elliott showing a little of his competitiveness. You know what impressed me, Brent, was on Thursday when Lute Olson divided up his squad. I mentioned this the other day. Divided up his squad to have a little inter-squad scrimmage and said, okay, we'll play to 14 points. And they really went after each other. I mean, it wasn't a matter of first team against second. Those guys wanted to win. They have a feel kind of like the wooden UCLA years where it was confidence and relaxed.
You said that to me almost right away. You walked in the building, watched them, and you came over and said, Brent, this is like a wooden team. Yeah,
they just are so relaxed, and yet when it comes time to be competitive, it's there, too. It's not a phony.
Inside of 2 minutes now, Tucson.
Good defense.
Fox.
Oh, no.
JR wanted a timeout.
And Lebo, you know, give him a lot of credit, too, for playing on that one leg. He's out there chasing, but he doesn't have a lot of quickness.
Reed's fourth personal out on Tolbert. You know, John Thompson, the Olympic coach, is here. I was just thinking, he was watching Gary Grant of Michigan. He had his problems the other night. I watched J.R. Reed here. He's had some difficulty. I dare say it'll be an interesting selection process for Coach Thompson and his assistants to see what kind of a lineup they come up with.
Brett, this club by themselves beat the Soviet Union. I'm going to make a crazy statement. I think you can give Lute Olson or John Thompson, either one or a number of other coaches, the Arizona team, let them select a couple of guys outside of that, similar to what Dean Smith did in '76, and they'll win the Olympics. Believe me.
Danny Manning.
Put Manning on there, or Hersey Hawkins, and maybe a power rebounder, and let this club go. This club really understands how to play team basketball. I'm not making them national champions yet, but I'm saying that they can win the Olympics, believe me.
Yeah, you're giving Billy Tubbs some material.
Yeah, he doesn't need any. He was so humble yesterday, I couldn't believe it. He'll be a riot in Kansas.
Archie shot.
And this mature Arizona club is frustrating the young Tar Heels, who are sure to be back in the race next year with only one senior on their entire club.
Splendid second half performance by the Wildcats of Arizona. North Carolina has missed its last 10 field goal attempts against Lute Olson's defense.
Pushed by Lebo. Dean Smith doesn't want to see his team foul that much the rest of the way here. You go for the steal, but you don't want to just keep adding up points.
14, Jeff Lebo.
Dean Smith had something the other day, Brent, that taught me a heck of a lesson in basketball. I always say, take what the defense gives you. And he said the other day, no, we don't take what the defense gives us. We keep working until we get what we want, which is quite a philosophy.
That's Jeff Lebo's third personal foul. Sean Elliott at the line, 1 and 1.
Continues, and Arizona closes in now. They'll be going to Kansas City. we've got an intentional foul, Billy.
Yeah, that's an intentional on Madden. I didn't see it because I was watching Lebo off the screen.
Some of the Gumbies may close this one out. It was interesting on that trip, Billy, how Carolina aggressively still going for the ball and Arizona still attempting to hit the open man.
Well, these ball teams are both so well schooled, and that's not just for the starting players.
Celebration time in Tucson, Arizona, folks. Kansas City. Arizona goes to Kansas City. We'll hear from the heroes, and we'll be going to Jim Nantz in just a moment.
Brett Musburger.
Lute Olson, you've got the lipstick off. You're feeling now about going to the Final Four with this Arizona team.
Well, it's a great thrill, Brent. It's a group of kids who started October 15th with nothing else in their mind other than going to Kansas City. And they put up what they said they were going to do.
You've proved a lot for the program in the Pac-10. We'll see you in Kansas City. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Brent.
Let's go back now.